girls, it's Miss Marta from the library, and welcome to Sensory Explorers. Today, Miss Jen and I are going to share with you some fun spring activities that you can do at home. I'm going to show you how you can create your own sensory garden in a box, and Miss Jen will share with you a fun scavenger hunt that we have created for you that you can do when you go on a spring walk with your parents or your brothers and sisters. So I'm going to show you how you can create your own sensory garden. And most of the things that I have here on the table that I'm going to use, I bought at the dollar store. So they were not very expensive. But you can also make a sensory garden using natural materials that you find in your garden. So maybe you can ask your grown-up if you can use some grass or pick some flowers if you have any in the garden. And if you don't have any flowers, that's okay. You can always make your garden using some of the materials that I'm going to show you today. So the first thing that we're going to do is I bought this little container at the dollar store. And I have some Easter grass that I bought. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to put some of my grass inside of my container. Like that, so you can see I have my grass. And what do you think grass feels like? Because this is fake grass. So this one is soft and it's kind of long. Some of the pieces are long and it's soft. What does real grass feel like? What do you think? Is it hard? Is it soft? Is it cold? Is it wet? Yeah, real grass can be wet if you touch it after it rained. It could be cold too, or it can be warm if it's a hot day, right? It can have different textures and different feels. So now that we have our grass, the next thing that we're going to do is I have bought this foam. And as you can see, it has lots of holes in it because I have used it before. What I'm going to do is I bought these flowers. And I'm going to pretend that this is my garden. This is the soil. So I'm going to take my flowers and I'm going to put them inside of this planting foam. So I'm just going to stick them in there. Just like this. And you can see that I have my flowers. So I'm going to put them on my grass inside of my garden. Look, I'm going to have to move my grass a little bit. Just move it around. And next, I'm going to do that same thing to my other piece of foam. And this piece of foam I actually bought at Michael's. And some people use this if they make like flower decorations for tables. So I'm going to use the rest of my flowers that I have. And I'm also going to put those inside of my foam. And as you can see, I have lots of pretty colors of flowers that I have in my garden. I have some yellow and orange. I have purple. I have pink. Because flowers come in all different types of colors, right? And you can find them in your garden. So I have my flowers. And something that I have been doing over the years is every time I plant something in my garden at home, I always save these little tags. And when you buy flowers at the flower store like Lowe's or Home Depot, they usually have the little tags inside of the flower so that you know the name of the flower. So as I have been planting flowers in my garden, I have saved all of these little tags. So maybe the next time that you and your grown-up is planting flowers in a garden, you can ask them if you can have the little tags so that you can use them in your pretend garden. So I'm going to pretend that this one actually says this one is a tulip. So I'm going to put this one in here. And then I have another one. Let's see, what do I have? I have some marigolds. So I'm going to put that here. I have some, what else? Ooh, I actually have another one of tulips, and I'm going to put that on this side. Another fun thing that I have been collecting is seed packages. So every time I plant seeds in my garden, I just save the packages. So I'm going to pretend that I have seeds in these packages, and I'm just going to sprinkle them all around my garden, just like that. Next, what else can you find in the garden? I know that in my garden, sometimes I have little insects or little bugs. So I actually bought some bugs at the dollar store also that I'm going to include in my garden. So I have a grasshopper. I'm going to put that in my grass. I have a beetle, a worm, a ladybug, and I even have a butterfly. And I think I'm going to put that maybe on one of the flowers because butterflies like to sit on flowers. So as you can see, I just used a couple of different materials to create my garden. What are some other things that we need to make our garden? I know some people use gloves. They put on gloves on their hands because they don't like their hands to get dirty from the soil because the soil is black. And if you touch it with your hands, sometimes your hands can get dirty. And sometimes people use a rake. They like to rake their soil, or dig out a little hole where they can put their seeds or their flowers. Sometimes they use a little shovel too to make their hole. And what do we need to make our flowers grow? We need water. So we might need a little watering can to sprinkle water on our garden. What are some other things that our garden needs? It needs water and it needs the sun, right? So we can pretend that we have the sun shining down on our pretty garden and helping our garden grow. And then we can take a watering can and we can water all of our plants and flowers so that everything can grow. So as you can see, Miss Marta used a couple of things that you can find at the dollar store to make your garden. So maybe you can ask your grown-up to pick up some of these things so you can make your garden, or you can go out on a nature walk with your grown-up and see if you can find any fun things in nature. Maybe you can find some bugs and you can put them in your little garden. Or maybe your grown-up will let you pick some flowers that you have in your garden and put it in the box to create your fun garden. And now, Miss Jen will share with you the fun scavenger hunt that you can do with your family when you go on a nature walk.
One of the best parts about spring is to be able to go outside and see all of the things that are starting to grow and come back to life. There's lots of things that you can see, like the trees budding and the flowers blooming, so lots of really bright colors. You might hear the birds chirping. A lot more people are outside walking around, so you might hear kids playing outside and dogs barking as they're going for walks. You might smell the flowers that are starting to bloom, both on trees, on bushes, in people's gardens. So Marta and I are going to go for a walk around the library to see what signs of spring that we can find. We have a spring bingo card that is going to guide us along the way. We want you to come along with us. When we're done, you can come to the library and pick up your own bingo card at the Children's Services desk and go home and do your own spring scavenger hunt with your friends and family.
Here is a close-up of the spring bingo card. Come along and let's see what we can find.
Ponds are a great place to find ducks. Let's see if we can find any. Oh, there's a duck walking in the grass, and I see some geese swimming in the pond behind him.
Looks like there's no sun out today. Make sure if you do look for the sun that you don't look directly at it.
I see Marta holding an umbrella. She might need it today.
Let's look up in the tree to see if there's a bird nest. Look,
There it is! Look at the beautiful tree buds on this tree. Pretty soon those buds are going to turn into leaves.
I see a robin. I bet he's looking for some yummy worms to eat.
Look at this colorful pinwheel. It's going to turn very fast when the wind blows.
Looks like someone has their rain boots ready to go in case it rains.
Gardening tools means that flowers are close by. Those are some beautiful flowers.
We don't have to look far to see green grass now. Let's look a little closer to see if we can find some bugs.
Oh my goodness, look! It's a slug! I have never seen a slug in person before. This is super cool! You have to be very quiet and patient, and also be very careful if you want to be able to see bugs and insects in the grass. Can you see the trail of slime that this slug is leaving behind him? You have to look really carefully, but it's there. Don't forget to pick up your spring bingo card at the Children's Services desk at the library.
The library has lots of books all about gardening. One of them is called The Curious Garden. This book is written by Peter Brown. In this book, a young boy lives in a big city where it's very gray and boring and nothing really grows. Until one day he happens upon a small area where there's flowers growing. He decides to take care of it, and the garden area grows and expands throughout the entire city, making it an absolutely beautiful place. Another book is called Muncha Muncha Muncha. This is written by Candace Fleming, and it's illustrated by G. Brian Karras. In this book, Mr. McGreely has always wanted to have a garden. He finally decides to plant one, and he plants lots of vegetables, and he's so excited about them. Unfortunately, the bunnies are also very excited about them, and so Mr. McGreely has to fight every night and build new contraptions to try to keep the bunnies out. Do you think he's going to succeed? Come check out the book and find out.